By the time this barge returned to New York, it had become a ship without a country, carrying cargo no port would accept. Yet the object at the center of the panic was only a metal bedpan buried among household trash. Rumor had become stronger than evidence, and every refusal made the next refusal easier. To understand how garbage became untouchable, go back to Long Island in 1987. Household waste entered a baler, emerged as rectangular blocks, and was prepared for shipments south. There was no grand conspiracy and no secret cargo. This began as an ordinary disposal plan. Islip's landfill was running out of room. Moving the load elsewhere seemed practical, inexpensive, and routine. Someone had space, Long Island had garbage, and a barge could connect them. Then everything started to go wrong. Islip's problem did not arrive as one dramatic emergency. It came truck by truck, day after day, while the landfill's remaining space steadily disappeared. Nearby disposal was becoming harder to sustain. Lowell Harrelson saw an opportunity. Move the compacted bales south, bury them in another landfill, capture methane from decomposition, and use that gas to generate electricity. The garbage could leave Long Island and help pay for its own disposal. On paper, the chain looked elegant. The bales were loaded onto Mobro 4000 and the operation moved away from the dock. From shore, it seemed almost routine, but the plan now depended on weather, permits, and one dangerous assumption. Somewhere ahead, another community would agree to accept what Long Island no longer wanted. Then, the real journey began.
So Mobro couldn't move by itself?
Exactly. Break of Dawn pulled the entire load, mile after mile.
At sea, the elegant business plan became a physical test. The tug had to keep the load aligned through swell, maintain tension on the tow line, and navigate as one long system. The first planned stop was Morehead City, North Carolina. As the vessels approached, the problem was no longer distance, it was permission. Officials examining the bales noticed a dull metal object wedged between them. It did not prove the cargo was dangerous, but it resembled hospital equipment, turning an ordinary arrival into a question no port official wanted to answer. The object was a bedpan, recognizable as hospital equipment. It did not establish what else was inside, but the shipment was now suspected medical waste. Morehead City held the tow offshore and refused entry. As the vessels turned away, news of the discovery traveled faster than the barge itself. The bedpan was no longer merely an object. It had become a warning that other ports could recognize before anyone had fully examined the cargo.
So one metal bedpan proved the entire barge was dangerous medical waste?
No. It made refusing the cargo feel safer than being the official who accepted it.
The refusal did not stay in North Carolina. It moved through teletypes and radio calls, reaching each port before the tow. Each time the question changed. Officials no longer asked what inspectors found. They asked why another state had said no and what might happen if they said yes. Louisiana made the pattern unmistakable. The approach was blocked, the tow kept offshore, and another destination disappeared. Newspapers reproduced the same image, a barge stacked with anonymous bales moving from one closed door to the next. Repetition made it real. Soon, this was no longer simply unwanted waste from Long Island. It was the garbage barge, a traveling symbol of contamination, secrecy, and official risk. The American coastline was running out of places willing to meet it. With the American route collapsing, the operators looked beyond the United States for help. But the reputation crossed borders more easily than the cargo. Aircraft watched from above. Harbor craft intercepted the tow. Mexico refused it. Belize refused it. The Bahamas refused it. Different authorities, different waters, same decision. Keep the barge moving. The voyage was no longer searching for the cheapest disposal site. It was searching for anyone willing to assume responsibility for a cargo already famous for being rejected. Every turn added distance but brought no solution. The tow circled through warmer seas and then headed back toward American waters. Federal inspectors finally boarded. After weeks of warnings and rumors, the contents would face a closer examination.
So the EPA finally found the deadly cargo everyone feared?
No, some hospital-related waste, yes, but not the biological catastrophe the headlines promised.
The inspection was less dramatic than the story surrounding it. Some hospital-related refuse was present, but inspectors did not find the biological catastrophe people imagined. much visible material was ordinary municipal waste: paper, newspaper, cardboard, and household debris. In another situation, that finding might have reduced the alarm. Here, it arrived too late. The barge already had a public identity. Evidence now competed with repetition. News photographs, television screens, and official warnings had turned one load into a national symbol. The correction was careful. The frightening version was simple: dangerous garbage moving from port to port. So the inspection changed what could honestly be claimed. It did not change who was willing to accept it. After the inspection, the tow turned north. Unable to find a distant solution, the cargo headed back toward the place that had sent it away. New York appeared ahead, but arrival did not mean permission to dock. Harbor authorities blocked the berth, and court orders prevented unloading without an approved disposal plan. The barge waited offshore while paperwork moved between offices and unanswered phones rang in empty rooms. None wanted legal responsibility for bringing it ashore. Distance had failed as a solution. Sending the cargo away again would only repeat the refusals. The next proposal changed the question entirely. Instead of finding another destination for the garbage, officials would have to change the garbage itself into something a destination could accept.
So the voyage ended, but the garbage was still stranded in the harbor?
Exactly. Bringing it ashore meant accepting the legal and political risk.
The eventual solution was incineration. Officials approved controlled unloading at a Brooklyn municipal facility where each bale could be handled and destroyed under supervision. A crane lifted the first weathered bale ashore. Workers cut its bands, opened the wrapping, and spread the contents across tables. The reveal was almost aggressively ordinary. Paper, newspaper, cardboard, and wood dominated what appeared. That did not mean every item aboard was harmless or that no hospital-related refuse existed. It meant the physical cargo looked far less extraordinary than the reputation attached to it. For months, the barge had been treated as a single mysterious object. Now the bales were being separated, examined, and reduced to familiar materials. For the first time since departure, the waste was moving toward disposal instead of another refusal. With the contents documented, disposal began. Inspected material tipped into the receiving hopper, then moved along a conveyor toward the furnace. Paper, cardboard, and wood traveled together until the first load disappeared completely inside. Fire achieved what distance and paperwork could not. The familiar garbage burned down to residue, a visibly smaller problem, and soon one the law could treat differently.
So it still went back to Islip?
Yes, but first, more than 3,000 tons of garbage had to become roughly 400 tons of ash.
After the furnace, the residue was cooled for handling. The load that no port wanted had become a smaller quantity that ordinary equipment could finally move, store, and transport again. The scale of the problem had changed. Most of its original bulk was gone. The ash was loaded into trucks and sent across Long Island to Islip, the town the garbage had left. The long route itself had solved nothing. The cargo was going home, but only after fire erased what made it impossible to accept. In Islip, the truck crossed the landfill gate and reached a prepared disposal cell. The ash was tipped into a controlled layer, then a bulldozer pushed soil across it. After the voyage, the refusals, and incineration, the material ended almost where it began, buried in the same community that had tried to send it away. The glowing diagram shows a later landfill gas system, not gas produced by Mobro ash. It recalls the original idea: bury waste, capture methane, and turn a disposal problem into energy. But Mobro's legacy was different. It made America's hidden waste system impossible for the public to ignore. If this story changed how you see ordinary garbage, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. That helps us make more stories like this.